Welcome back to 3-Minute Devotions. Last week we talked about James chapter 1, verse 1, where he introduced us to this concept of servanthood, being the brother of Jesus, but yet referring to himself as a servant of Christ. I want to introduce you to another concept that James brings up in James chapter 2, verse 14, where he talks about our faith without having any works being useless. You know, on one hand, it almost seems like it contradicts Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, where Paul writes, "For it's by grace that you've been saved through faith, and not of works, lest any man could boast." I mean, can you really imagine if we could do enough things to earn our way into heaven? If we could go to church enough, or if we could give enough money, or go on enough mission trips to really earn our way, to punch our ticket, so to speak, into heaven, how much would we brag and boast about that? So Paul says we're saved by grace through faith, not of works. But yet James tells us that our faith is useless without works. In fact, he goes on to tell us in James chapter 2, verse 17, that our faith without deeds is completely dead. So where's the happy medium here? You got to understand what each of the authors are talking about. Let me share a story real fast. A story told about a kid who goes to a ventriloquist show, and there the puppet starts interacting with this little kid as a part of the show. This kid buys in completely to the puppet. He laughs at all the jokes, and he begins to talk back to the puppet as the puppet talks to him during the show, and he has a great time there. Well, when the show's over with, the ventriloquist puts the puppet down. The kid, being just a little boy, thinks he has a new friend, and so he goes up to invite the puppet to come to his house and to play with him in his yard and to do the things that they talked about in the show. You see, the ventriloquist has to tell him he's a puppet. He's not real. Sometimes he looks real, but really all he ever does is talk. There's no action that comes out of his mouth. You see, James and Paul are writing about the same thing. Paul tells us that our salvation comes through the grace of Jesus Christ. It is a gift from God. We can't earn it, and the truth is we don't deserve it. But what James is telling us is, because of our salvation, it produces something in us that lets people know exactly who we are in Christ Jesus. In fact, James goes on to say in verse 18 of James chapter 2, he says, "Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by the things that I do." You see, it comes down to this question right here. Are you telling people that you're a believer in Jesus Christ? Do they have to hear it from your mouth? Or do people know that you're a believer in Jesus Christ by your actions? Who are you like? Are you like James, who says, "I'll show you who I am by what I do"? Or are you really like the ventriloquist puppet who just does all the talking and that's it? What do your deeds, what do your actions show about Jesus Christ? Don't just stop there. Check out the rest of James chapter 2. 3 minutes is a great start, but that's all it is. You need to finish it up.